Hey everybody, I'm Random Frank P, and welcome to my review of Madden 16. For all of you who search this video looking for a solid review of this year's release, I will take my 15 plus years of Madden playing experience and give you the full rundown on my thoughts and opinions. A lot of things really pissed me off this year, but a lot of things also made me happy. I have a lot of things to go over in this review, so give me a chance to cover it all. Let's get into it. First things first, you are greeted with a stunning representation of Odell Beckham Jr.'s infamous catch, followed by a few more CGI renders of him for the start menu screen. After a few long loading screens later, you are met with another cutscene-like show from EA. Last year was the Carolina Panthers and Luke Kuechly getting the whole opening scene treatment. This year is EA's very bold prediction of Super Bowl 50, the Steelers versus the Cardinals. It shows you the rope in kind of like a tutorial-like way, showing you how to catch, intercept the ball, etc. But the opening sequence spends way too much time showing you pre-rendered footage to make it seem like a dramatic sports film when the game is actually nothing like that. More on this later. Let's talk about the game's presentation now. Once you boot up and get into the game, I was pretty angry. You'll find very similar stuff to last year's release because the same music, the same 3D models, the same exact everything is from Madden 15. No scoreboard graphics have changed at all, the play calling menu is exactly the same, every single bit of 3D overlay is just imported from Madden 15. They also decided this year to add these real-time VR-like overlays on the screen when you do something noteworthy like catching a 15-yard pass, but I find them extremely pointless and it constantly reminds me this is just a video game. On top of that, EA really needs to get Jim Nantz and Phil Simms out of the commentary booth. Countless times I've heard the same thing over and over, and you could tell they were just sitting there reading lines all day because their commentary feels very forced and fake. They put on their announcer voice and try to pronounce everything like in a announcer-like commentary voice, but it just feels extremely unnatural. Get John Gruden in here. Hell, even get Chris Collinsworth, and trust me, I hate Chris Collinsworth. Just listen to this.
At quarterback, the son of an Emmy Award-winning set decorator back in Hollywood, Matt Castle.
Like, really? Besides from that, there are some improvements. Real music actually returns to the game for the first time in a few years, and it's nice to hear songs like Fall Out Boy's Light 'Em Up blaring over the stadium speakers again. The graphics aren't going to be jaw-dropping, but minor texture improvements to players and jerseys and stadium stuff is pretty nice. They tweak the lighting as they do each and every year, which also makes their graphics seem more natural. I would like to see the contrast turned down just a bit though, because sometimes players are just a giant shadow. Also, did you know that every single 8:30 night game means that the sky is a nice purple and pink sunset? I guess I need to get out more. Returning from last year is a skills trainer where you can put your skills to the test in a gridiron-like competition. Seemed to be a cool way to challenge your friends, so EA decided to bring it back. Also, obviously the fan favorite Madden Ultimate Team returns, and it's still one of the most popular modes in the entire game. You start off picking from a preferred playstyle, whether it be short passes, long passes, running, zone defense, etc., to pick your pack preferences. And from there, you know the routine, you open packs of very low skilled players, then you can earn coins to open packs in hopes to find that one key addition to your team. One of the biggest improvements this year is the auction house and how you could shop players around, letting you sell or buy players more conveniently. However, where Madden really catches my attention is with their new Draft Champions mode. Fantasy football is a huge phenomenon and Madden never really seemed to take advantage of that. However, with this mode in the game now, it makes it seem very interesting. No more do you have to sit there for hours and hours on end picking all 53 players in a fantasy draft if you chose to do so in your franchise. Now in Draft Champions, you are met with 3 players per round for 15 rounds. Pick one of 3 players on the screen to add to your team. Each player is randomly generated, so you never know who's going to show up. But where it gets interesting is how you choose to build your team with a limited selection. You can have a top running back in one round, but decide to go with a star-studded QB instead in hopes to find another QB popping up in the later rounds, but it may never happen. It's all chance, and that's what makes it really fun. Do you gamble your potential QB pick for your favorite wide receiver showing up and chance missing out in later rounds, or will you get lucky and land on the top players that you want? That is the fun part. For me, I landed some pretty good defensive players early, and I had a great wide receiver corps, but passing up on Matt Ryan early in the draft left me with Matt Castle, unfortunately, as my starting QB. It's a really fun mode. You can go on from there building and competing to improve your team. Connected Franchise also returns as expected, and Madden seems to be boasting their new RPG-like improvement system for meeting weekly goals and milestones to improve your player and team each week. It's been there in every single Madden that I can think of. I don't know why they're trying to refresh it, make it seem like it's a new feature when it's not. I like to spend most of my time in the franchise mode playing season after season, and I'll probably be doing that again this year. One thing they added that is very helpful is the implementation of the cloud. Now when you start a franchise, EA can make adjustments and tune players automatically without you having to start a new franchise to get the latest rosters or ratings. I like that a lot, but there's no real crazy improvements here, but that's okay. Now for the most important part of the review, the gameplay. Since the 2014 NFL season saw the emergence of rookie wide receivers and a big Malcolm Butler interception in the Super Bowl, EA decided to focus on the passing game on both sides of the ball. Want to catch the ball conservatively? Press A before the ball is on the receiver. Want to rack up yards after the catch? Press X. Want to go up for a huge grab? Press Y. Essentially, it's the same gig from last year. In Madden 15, you would use the left thumbstick when you throw to lead receivers, put it behind them on their back shoulder, above for a high catch, etc. And personally, I kind of like that better. It's just easy and more natural to dictate where the ball should be thrown with the left thumbstick in whatever position is best, as opposed to pressing another button before the ball gets to the receiver's hands. I see their vision, but it's just not executed properly. In fact, I'm still using the left thumbstick as I throw, even though it really doesn't do anything because I'm just so used to it, and it's honestly a better mechanic, so I guess I'll just have to move on and get used to this year's. However, with the addition of these new catches comes great things. A ton of new animations have been added to the game, making the passing game more realistic than ever. I love seeing D-backs contest a high ball, swap it away last second, or whiff on an interception attempt and get beat. For example, I gambled on the pick with Byron Maxwell, Dez got lucky off a deflection bounce and turned it into a nice touchdown. It made me happy seeing all these improvements, and it really felt more realistic to play. There were a few times that the big catch animations were overly used when players in real life normally wouldn't make a catch like that, but then again there were also some plays where sure-handed receivers would drop open balls. Like on this wide open seam route, you're telling me Jimmy Graham was really going to drop that? I don't think so. Drops are pretty common on contact, and that surprised me. It could just be a flat out drop, or it could be some sort of bug when you interact with their physics engine. I'm not really sure, but I'd like to see that tweaked a bit. Corners did still drop a few interceptions that was right in their hands, but that's okay, because it was far less than years past, and the new animations made grabbing a pick or jumping a route exhilarating. Also, this will make people really happy. Blocking in the open field has improved greatly. I noticed I can run behind my receiver setting a block, and it actually works. On the scramble, I would run behind my back and patiently wait for him to clear the path ahead as I spin away from the contact. Nice. I could definitely say this year feels the most authentic to date, and I welcome these improvements. Penalties are also finally improved. They're still rather infrequent, but holding, pass interference, false starts, and neutral zone infractions are calls I've seen at least like every 2 possessions or so. The amount of improvements in the gameplay is noticeable this year, and it's leaps over years past. However, there are still a lot of things that left me scratching my head. Far too often I'm running plays that my player get locked up and tied with a guard or a blocker, leaving him running in place only to get tackled or fall down. Speaking of falling down, this is where I see the demise of EA's engine. Remember the days with the hit stick? Pads would clash together, helmets would pop off, bodies would crumble from a big hit. This year, tackling is at its all-time worst. I hesitate to even call it a tackle. When 2 players collide and trigger the quote, tackle animation, their bodies just go limp and they fall down. Each and every play ended with a limp player falling down. It's ridiculous. To top it off, about 75% of tackles didn't even have a sound effect. You would just run into somebody, fall limp, and that's it. On an average drive of about 10 plays, let's say, you'll be lucky to hear the sound effects of pads clashing together or any sort of tackling sound effect on maybe 3 plays tops. Could this be fixed or patched in the future? Yes, but it should have been fixed before the game shipped, and it's really, really annoying. Their physics engine is also just flat out horrible. After every play, you'll most likely stumble over a body just laying on the ground. You know why? Because once a player is on the ground, they just stay there unresponsive for about 3 seconds, then they get up. And this is no joke. Once a body is on the turf, they die for a few seconds and just come back to life. Really, EA, you couldn't stitch some sort of animation so once a player is knocked down to the ground, they just get back up and walk to the side of the ball? It just makes no sense to me. Every play I'm wondering if my player is dead on the field or injured, and then just pop right back up. Some other things bothering me, like Tom Coughlin looking like a half man, half bunny, players deciding to be Forrest Gump and just never stop running, the ref's volume is way too low, not being able to execute a wide receiver screen because pressing X to get yards after the catch just made him dive, a lack of tattoos because still only Kaepernick and Odell Beckham Jr. have tattoos, There's a lot of other minor things that just piss me off. Let me wrap this up by saying this. Madden 16 should have been what we got 2 years ago for Madden 25 on the next-gen consoles. This was their vision then, and we are just getting it now. The game makes great improvements in the gameplay aspect, making it the most authentic feeling Madden to date. It's more fluent, smooth, and realistic, but there are still some minor bugs and things that should be addressed. So you have to make the call. If you have Madden 15, I do find it hard to justify the purchase. The graphics are slightly better, and the only real key addition is the new Draft Champions mode, which might be enough for some people to want to go out and buy it because it really is a really cool game mode. If you haven't played Madden in a few years and are interested this year, then give it a go. In the time that I've played it, I did enjoy it. I had some fun online, and the new Draft Champions mode this year is really cool, and hopefully some of the things I complained about can be patched or fixed. I do think they spent way too much time making that opening Steelers and Cardinals cutscene thing, and I wish the developers put half as much heart into the rest of the game like they did that opening sequence. I will say this, EA, you are so lucky 2K isn't capable of making an NFL game. You all know the major differences in NBA Live and NBA 2K, and that's exactly how it was back in the day with ESPN NFL 2K5 and Madden, and that's exactly how it would be today. It's a fun game, the improvements are noteworthy, but it's just hard to recommend it for someone who plays it each and every year because there's no huge improvement. Okay everybody, that's going to do it for my first review of Madden 16. Hope you all enjoyed, and I hope it helps you base a decision on whether you're going to pick it up this year or not. If you liked the review, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more reviews from me, also definitely give it a thumbs up and tell me down below in the comment section, and also comment if you have any questions. Like I said guys, I'm Random Frank P. Hope you enjoyed. Have a good day.